Good day, everyone. Welcome back. This is once again Teacher Rex for Media and Information Literacy of Calamba City Science Integrated School. And today we are going to discuss text and visual dimensions of information in media. Because as you can see, visual elements are very important for you to send the message across. To be able to communicate effectively, text and visual should go hand in hand and they should be effectively and efficiently sent to your target audience. Now, here are four sample business cards. Identify what is wrong with the design of each card and suggest ways to improve them. For example, A for Juan de la Cruz MD, pediatrician. B, Clear Vision Center. C, Maria O. Clara, um, writer, editor, and content creatress. And the fourth one is Gigi San, interior and decorator. So kindly jot down the issues, the appropriate column, and then of course your suggestions side for improvement. And after this activity, kindly answer the question, what does this activity try to convey in relation to text and visual? What do you think? How important text and visual in the business cards or in posters or in any visual aid or graphics? Ladies and gentlemen, there are two categories of text, and the first one is formal. Examples of these formal texts are articles, published books, newspaper, magazine, advertisement, research work. So, what do they have in common? Of course, they have undergone rigorous processes of editing and evaluation, and are usually governed by censorship of the state, and these are published by companies and institutions or agencies. So formal work which really requires formal language and technical way of writing. And whereas we have the informal, such as blogs, personal emails, text messages, line messenger, social media platforms, they come from personal opinions or views on different issues and processes. And of course, informal texts are very raw. It doesn't require evaluation and editing because this is as authentic or first-hand as possible. So those are the two categories of text. And how do we ensure reliability of the text, no? As readers or as consumers of the information, who or what institution is sending this message? Techniques are used to hold attention. What is the language used by the writer? What views are represented? May balanced or may bias ba? May prejudices? How might the message be interpreted in different ways? And what is omitted, removed, slurred, clear, or added in the message? So these questions are simply the guide in order for us to see what is the message being conveyed by the text. Is this reliable in the first place? Now we also have the media and information design framework, as if we are the content producer or if we are the content contributor. So we have to identify first the target audience. Is it for students, for general public, for professionals, for engineers, for teachers, or for government leaders, author or sender? Who will be the perspective? Okay, who will be the author or the writer? The key content, what is the purpose, no? What is the form and style and the format? You have to take in consideration these elements in order before you proceed with the production itself. Okay, So now, text as visual. So text is visual simply because it can be perceived by the eye, and it's often represented by the type font or type. The It is the representation or style of a text. Typeface is usually composed of alphabets, numbers, punctuation marks, symbols, and other special characters. In digital format, they are installed in forms such as TTF or True Type Font or OTF, Open Type Font. They convey different emotions and meaning, and you must be very careful in choosing the right font for your content. Personally, I have ballistic arts and crafts wherein I lay out and I design invitations, programs, openings, posters, and a lot more. So, and given them, I am very, very particular with font styles. That's why I have a huge stack of font types. Simply because there are appropriate fonts for occasion, for for different occasions, for different programs, for different emotions, because it helps you add more meaning to the work itself. And also, it tells us about the artist. No? If you have the eye for fonts, so simply, I I, I usually admire these people because there are only few people who really know how to choose the right font. The simpler, the better. the 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 simpler, the more elegant it would be. So that is the text as visual. And now let us study the different type fonts and their implications or uses and some of the examples. I hope that you are familiar with this, no? So the first type is serif. Okay? When we say serif, it connotes formality and readability in large amount of text, gives a classic or elegant look when used for title or heading. Uses for the body text of books, newspapers, magazines, and research publication. The examples are Times New Roman, Garamond, Baskerville, Bookman, Antiqua. So these are the classic font styles, no? And it is usually for the body text. Sans serif, sans means none. So, wala siya yung mga pakulot, no? Katulad ng mga Times New Roman, meron tayong nakikita mga parang uh, labis lines. So those are the serif fonts. The sans serif fonts are much simpler. It is clean, minimalist look to the text, gives a modern look, and is used primarily in web page design. For clear and direct meaning of text such as road signage, building directory, or nutrition facts in food packages. So those are Arial, Century Gothic, Tahoma, Verdana, and Calibri. Okay, so we are more familiar with this because these are really the default installed fonts in computers. So slab serif carries a solid heavy look to text for large advertising signs on billboards such as Rockwell, Playbill, and Black Oak. So this is for emphasis and this is for bold text, and it's usually noisy and also uh, and also it really attracts the readers because of its features. The next one is the script. When we say script, these are the cursive for wedding invitation, for formal events, for logo, for bake shops, for stores, no? Display and decorative caters to a wide variety of emotions such as celebration, fear, horror, and etc. Such as cowboy, circus, holidays, kitty, etc. Must be used sparingly and not to be used in large body text, please. No, these are the girls, the chill, the Joker, the AR cartoon, and what have you. So given this, so you will not use Comic Sans in your term paper or in your research work or when you write a book. You will not use Edwardian Vladimir in the headlines of a journal or newsletter or school paper, no? So um each font has a specific use, no? Has and it has recommendations. So that's why you have to be very, very careful in choosing the right font, notification, and time. Okay, so now let's proceed to the design principles and elements. The number one is emphasis. You have to be familiar with this because in a very huge amount of information, we have to establish emphasis. You have to emphasize what is the main idea or what is the main purpose of the text. Okay, that because it gives the importance or the value. Okay, when it is latent, so meaning to say it is not important. So next, appropriateness. This refers to how fitting or suitable the text is used for a specific audience, purpose, or event. So this is very self-explanatory. I have also explained this a while ago. Proximity. This refers to how near or how far are the text elements from each other. When two things are closely related, we bring them close together. Otherwise, we put text elements far from each other. For example, the main title and subtitle are usually placed close to each other. So you have to be very careful in creating distance between and among your text, no? Because sometimes if they are placed or if they are misplaced, so it really affects the comprehension of your readers. It affects the meaning or the message. So if they should be together, you put them near to each other. So now alignment. So if this is left aligned, center, right aligned, or justified. So usually in research papers, it must be justified because it looks clean. And if it's left aligned, it creates more spaces or white spaces, no? So and if it's center, it's more on poetic, no? Poetic. Okay, so alignment is also important in if you are doing formal text and informal text, no? Next, organization. This refers to a conscious effort to organize the different text elements in a page. So where are you going to put the title? Are you going to put the title below? Okay, so usually you put the headline or the heading. Of course, the head is should be on top, no? So but sometimes when you play with your layout, with your organization, and if you are a risk taker and playful, you can do it. You can do it as long as the message will not be altered or will be not be affected. So if it adds to the meaning, it has some, if it's something to do with the message, so go ahead. Okay, but there's nothing if you are going to follow the traditional or the usual organization, so you're safer. Repetition. The next principle is repetition. It concerns the consistency of elements in the unity. Repetition encourages the use of repeating some typefaces within the page, because when you repeat, there's a consistency, right? When you repeat it, there's a consistency in terms of typefaces. It creates balance and unity in the entire work. Okay, contrast. This is very, very important, especially when you are doing PowerPoint presentations, when you are doing posters, because if you are going to use red font in an orange background, so how was that? Okay, so you have to establish high contrast for your text to stand out. For example, here, black and white, so you can really read it easily, no? So but if the contrast is too low, so our eyes will really suffer. Okay, so these are the design principles and elements in one photo. So we have the contrast, we have the repetition, the proximity, and the alignment. Now also we have the lines, the shapes, the space, the value, the color, and the texture. It's very important. In designing your work, you have to use this intelligently. You have to use them effectively. Okay, what is the more appropriate color, the shape, and the size, and also when you create, when you try to apply the value or the ascending or the descending of the colors or the brightness, so that can be. And we have the types of visual media. Of course, image, video, graphs and charts, the GIFs, the memes, you are very familiar with that, the webinars, screenshots, infographics, we have ebooks and drawings. Okay, so these are the visual media. Now, principles in visual design. I have told you before about repetition and consistency. You have to be consistent with your margin, typeface, type style, and colors. Okay? In order for you to have unity, in order for you to have the signature, the signature look. Okay? Now, center of interest. More often than not, you put the most important in the center or at the center, or not it's not actually every time that the most important is at the center. Sometimes through your through the lines, through the shapes and the colors, you can establish the center of interest. An area that first attracts attention in a composition. This area is more important when you compare to the other objects or elements in a composition. This can be by contrast of values, more colors, and placement in the format. So take a look at the examples given. We have the eye, we also have the leaf, the orange leaf, and we have the eyes of the portrait of Liza Soberano. Balance. So it's very self-explanatory. A feeling of visual equality in shape, form, value, color, etc. can be symmetrical and evenly balanced, or asymmetrical and unevenly balanced. Objects, values, colors, textures, shapes, and forms can be used in creating balance in composition. So take a look at the examples given. So we have the egg. We also have this structure or the building. We also have the two walls. And we have the woman in between them, and we have the two buildings facing each other with a body of water in the middle. So we can see a sense of balance here. Number 4 is harmony. When you talk about harmony, it means it creates the feeling of very pleasing to the eye, and it is a composition of similar units. Wavy lines, organic shapes, you would stay with those types of lines and not put in just one geometric shape. So this one is the repetition of shapes and colors. So look at this. So, one is the picture of a plant, macro shot of a plant, and also we have the wavy lines here, the stones, and look at the color of the scarlet sunset, I think, orangey sunset. So that is very, very harmonious, very easy or pleasing to the eyes. Contrast. Okay, the text has contrast, and of course visual arts should also have a great sense of contrast, because this one shows the importance or the emphasis to the subject. So take a look at this. We have the yellow flower in the middle of gray, black flooring. We also have the contrast here of the subject, the eye of a kid. Then the contrast of yellow and blue, or the orange and blue. Also have the red paint. Yun. So we see this. We can see the subject. We can really see the emotion, no? The center of interest. Applying context. Number 5, directional movement. So these are two-dimensional photos, but we can see the movement, especially the first picture. Look at the hair and the water. Here, look at the stairs. We can see where it goes, no? And also the kid who are who, who are who is tossed in the air, and also the man who is biking, no? So those are the directional movement. You can see the direction or the movement in the picture. Okay, rhythm. Rhythm is a movement in which some elements recur regularly. Like a dance, it will have a flow of objects that will seem to be like the beat of music. So, by the way, the pictures are lifted from Google Images. These are not my photos. So look at the first picture. This is is the classic example of a rhythm photography. Okay, so look at that. Look at the lines in the pedestrian lane, and also the men in long hair with, and they are all wearing um, coat, slacks, and shoes. Okay, so look at the rhythm, and then on the second picture we can see the rhythm. It's actually a repetition of visual elements, uh, which are farmers cultivating the soil, I think. Okay, and the third picture is, look at that. Look at the wavy lines formed by the boat, okay, or the motorboat. Now, number 7, perspective, created through the arrangement of objects in two-dimensional space to look like they appear in real life. Perspective is a learned meaning of the relationship between different objects seen in space. So perspective is creating realistic image in a photo, in a two-dimensional photo. Look at that. Look at the convergent lines here in the first photo. It looks like it's really three-dimensional, no? So, and for the rest of the photos, we can see the perspective of the photographer and also the subject. Now, let us try to study the types of shot. Why are we even studying this if given the fact that you will not be photographers or you are not that fond of photography? But you have to have the skill and the knowledge or the know-how in using the cameras, even the cameras of your mobile phones, because picture speaks in words. So, citizen journalism. You can be patroller, no? And you can use this knowledge in order for you to convey the message that you want to send to your target audience. Now, the types of shots in photography. The number 1 is extreme wide shot or extreme long shot. This creates very dramatic emotion of the picture. No? Must have a feel of the time, the place of the story, whether it is morning, evening, hot or cold, wet or dry, and so on. The subject may be shown on a small scale in order to picture his or her relation to the scene. So this one, the subject is not that important because we are after here the setting. So in films, also this is not just in photography, but this is also in videography or in filmmaking. When you are establishing the setting of the story, so you have to take extreme wide or long shot in order for you to establish where and when the story is taking place. Number 2, the wide shot or the long shot. So less the extreme. Now, this shot establishes the character and how she is related to the scene. The character can be seen from head to toe because of its wide coverage. The wide shot can also be used as an establishing shot. This can also be used as a master shot, which introduces the new location or scene. So, if in the extreme wide shot or extreme long shot, we are giving more importance to the setting. This one, we are establishing more the relationship of the subject to the setting. Okay, so we are bit by bit giving more emphasis to the subject. Full shot. Okay, full shot. This is often used in modeling, endorsement. Okay, because um we should have the view, the full view of the character, no, from head to toe. But this time the character is already the focus. Through this, you can clearly see what the character looks like as a whole, or what he or she is doing. First picture, a running old man. Okay, and the second picture is um, a beautiful lady reading a book, no, without slippers or without footwear. Medium shot. Okay, this is a very classic big example. Titanic, Jack and Rose. The character is seen waist. This is often used in dialogue scene because it is wide enough to show two or more characters but close enough to show details. So as you can see from the waist upward, so we can see the details and also the relationship of two or more characters. Okay, medium close up. This is not the close up, but this is slightly or medium close up. Through this, more body language can complement the facial expressions to show emotion. So this one is for dialogues. Medium close-up. Look at the picture of Harry Potter, and also we have Jack talking to somebody else. Close-up. No. So this time it's the close-up. We focus on the character's face, or we focus on the details. Okay. Cropping the crown of the head in a close-up conveys a more intimate appeal. So that is a tip. Extreme close-up. Now, more on the eyes. No? This is a tighter frame that highlights the facial features or any subject more. It can be highly detailed, much more intimate and emotionally heightened, and even uncomfortable to view. No? So, macro shot, extreme close-up shot. Bird's eye view. This one naman, we are going to study the angles and the points of view. In the first type of view, the bird's eye view, so imagine a bird looking at the subject. So as you can see here, a photo shot by Ronan Vergara, a teacher from Camp Vicente Lim, and also one from Google Images. Okay, so this is taken from an elevated point. As its own name indicates, it offers a perspective similar to what which birds see while flying. Drones may be used to capture this type of shot, such as the picture on the left. However, you can still do this shot as long as you strategize your location, like shooting subject while you are standing on a bridge, or while you are sitting or standing on a tree. Okay, or on the topmost part of the building. Okay, high angle. So meaning each angle has a purpose and meaning. High angle, look at this shot. Okay, pointing the camera down on the subject. As a result, the subject is seen as vulnerable and powerless. So they seem small, they seem weak, and so vulnerable. That's high angle. Eye level. This is the default shot or the most usual shot, no? Most natural camera angle. Capturing the shot at eye level offers a neutral perception of the subject because it is the way in which we usually see people. This camera angle can help the audience connect with the subject. So this is establishing the relationship of the subject to the audience or viewers. Okay? And the next angle is the low angle. A low angle shot is taken from below the subject's eye line, pointing upwards. This camera angle makes a subject look powerful and imposing. So look at this shot, okay? So we cannot perceive them as weak, hopeless, and vulnerable, but we perceive them as someone or of characters who is powerful, who is supreme, no? So that is a low angle shot. Worm's eye view. So worm's eye view is the opposite of the bird's eye view. This one is a perspective from below. It is commonly used to capture tall elements in the scene, such as trees or skyscrapers, and put them in perspective. This type of camera shot is mostly taken from a subject point of view. Over the shoulder shot. So may ibig sabihin din pala yung over the shoulder shot because it is also called OTS. This is created by placing the camera at the back of one character while facing the other character. This is used to highlight the relationship of characters. So this one is Harry Potter shot. And ladies and gentlemen, the last and definitely not the least angle is the Dutch angle. So what do we mean by this? So a Dutch tilt, canted angle, or oblique angle is noticeably tilted or tipped. This is used to signal to the viewer that something is wrong, disorienting, setting. That's according to Lanum 2020. So guys, so now look at this examples. Katniss in Hunger Games, and also the Angry Man, Shackman. Okay, so given this shows that something is wrong, something is in trouble. Okay, so given these camera angles, also the types of shots, when we watch films the next time, we can have more understanding of what's happening, okay? Because we will have the edge whenever we watch these films, because we can get meaning out of the shots and out of the angles, no? So for example, this is a wide shot, this is establishing the scene, okay? Oh, this is Dutch angle, so something is wrong, okay? So this time you will have the edge in MIL class. So I hope that you can still remember the types of the elements and the principles of designs and visuals, and also the types of shots and camera angles. Okay, guys, I repeat, these are not just for photography, but this is also for posters, and this is also for movies or films. Now, for the assessment of week 3 and 4, I will be combining the marks, okay, of 3 and 4, because they pertaining to implications of media and information, and also how are we going to send the message in media and information in media effectively through the camera angles, the visuals, the text. Okay, so you are going to be grouped. Okay, and I have sent the groupings in your Google Classroom. You see the WHLP attachment for the grouping, and all you have to do is a collaborative desktop publishing. I know that you are in distance learning, asynchronous distance learning, but I know that you can work on it. Plan, conceptualize, write, and make a minimum of 4 and a maximum of 8-page newsletter or school paper. We have 3 articles for the news page. We have 3 articles and 1 cartoon for the editorial page, feature page, science and health page with at least 3 articles. So at least 12 articles in total must be all original. 8 photos in total may be originally captured or lifted as long as they are acknowledged. Okay, the sources are acknowledged for the owners. At least 3 infographics, at least 1 cartoon in total. All members must have a significant contribution. It can be a writer, editor, layout artist or designer, researcher, photojournalist, contributor, or whatever you can offer. Okay, Format A4, it should be colored. Apply the notes on Module 4 about text and visuals. Writer or byline must appear. Acknowledge the sources. And this will be submitted on February 17th. And kindly look at the details regarding the timeline. Okay, February 17 is the deadline. You have almost a month to finish the task. Collaborative desktop. Okay, and here is the break. News page 20 points, editorial page 20 points, feature page 20 points, science and 20 points, layout and design 15, completeness, originality, format, timeliness, that's 5 points, with a total of 100 points. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of modules 3 and 4. I hope you learned something in order for you to effectively use media and information. Thank you very much. This is once again Teacher Rex J. Bibal, your teacher in Media Information Literacy, Calamba City Science Integrated School. Bye-bye. See you again soon.